Hey guys, what's going on? Paul here. Welcome back to another not just Cardano overall crypto video today. And there's two main points that I want people to consider after watching this. So rather than hold them to the end, I'll give them to you now and then we will jump into the info as well. So number one is if you are using any type of centralized entity that offers interest for holding your crypto on there, like Celsius, I would say really consider whether the interest you are earning is worth the risk. With everything that's going on in the market, there's a ticking time bomb there with Three Arrows Capital, which I'll get into, that could affect a lot of these platforms. Consider taking the funds off them exchanges for 1, maybe 2 months, sacrifice the 1 or 2 months interest payments to make sure you safeguard the funds that you have. Having self-custody of your funds is always a safer means, as long as you understand how to do it safely and keep seed phrases safely. Ledger or a Trezor or some type of hardware wallet adds an extra layer of security as well. But we see what's happened with Celsius. They've blocked withdrawals. We don't know if people will ever get access to their funds again. There's two other platforms, similar platforms. One has blocked withdrawals today and one has limited the monthly withdrawals as well. So that potentially could go across the market. So again, I'll jump into the reasons behind that and the particular companies in this one. The second point is, if you are not planning to sell kind of over the next while, no matter where the market goes, how low it goes, consider turning off price notifications. Sometimes there's apps on your phone that tell you when it's gone up or down by 5%. And no matter how much we say we don't care about the price or where it's going or that, there's certain days that that notification that it's gone down by another 10%, it can just eat away at you. So just turn them off if you're not planning to actually interact with the market over the next while. Just concentrate more on updates on the certain protocols or platforms that you're interested in. The same with your portfolio. Again, you don't need them notifications if you're not going to do anything with it over the next few weeks, because look, things, when you look at them, when I show you what's going on out there right now, things could potentially get a lot worse before they get better in the cryptocurrency space. Long term, I've no doubts personally anyway that the likes of Bitcoin and ADA and other top coins will hit new all-time highs in the future. But right now there's a lot of different issues going on out there, so we'll jump into them. And if you get value, please do share it out, comment below even for the algorithm, give it a like, and let's jump into it. Okay, so jumping into the info then, I was going to start and go through the whole Ethereum and staked ETH versus ETH, the peg and how the peg is off right now, but I'll leave that to maybe another video. There's lots of other content creators out there that have information on this, but it's something to go down that rabbit hole if you want to. Ethereum, very high level, is looking to merge to a proof of stake chain. Proving difficult, they're having issues, and the time frame keeps moving. You can stake some of your ETH right now, but it gets locked up and you won't be able to take it out until 6 or 12 months after the merge actually happens, which we don't know when it's going to happen right now. There's opportunities out there to get ST ETH instead of your ETH, but then the markets are a bit different there. There is a difference in the price. So people, if they want to sell their ST ETH to get out of Ethereum right now, they're selling it at a loss to get back ETH, which they then go and dump on the market, which puts a lot of downward pressure. But I'll leave that one. It is a factor in what's going on with other stuff out there. So if you want to get the full details, then understanding that is a good place to go as well. Okay, so one of the main things that I want to talk about here that's going to affect the different companies out there is Three Arrows Capital. And I mentioned at the beginning there was companies similar to Celsius. Now on a smaller degree, Babel Finance has suspended withdrawals citing unusual liquidity pressures. And also another one as well is FinBlox here. They've made a similar decision. They've restricted withdrawals to $1,500 per month due to their connection to Three Arrows Capital. And Three Arrows Capital is the ticking time bomb out there in the crypto market right now. So there's lots of different stories out there. I'm just following a few of the threads that are here. Make sure that you check it out yourself and verify all of the details. But a lot of this seems to be verified across different profiles and platforms and stuff like that. But again, always do your own research on it. So Three Arrows Capital are one of the biggest crypto venture capital firms. They have potentially 18 billion under management, although we don't really know how much they have right now, especially after the big downturn in the market. We don't know how much funds they actually have. But what is starting to become clear is that they have taken out loans across multiple different platforms, from DeFi platforms to the likes of Celsius and other entities like that as well. And when I say take out loans, what that means is what they're doing is they're putting up crypto as collateral and taking out a loan. So one example of this, now this is the Celsius one that I've showed before. So this is where Celsius have just under 24,000 wrapped Bitcoin here against a loan of 225 million DAI. So they've taken out that loan for DAI and they've put up the collateral of Bitcoin. So for people who aren't familiar with this, basically you can put up the crypto you have as collateral and then take out a loan against that, but you have to maintain a certain percentage, a certain collateral percentage. So you can see here the minimum on this one is 145%. So that means that they need to keep at least 145% of crypto up against this loan. So they need basically 45% more in value in crypto than what they've taken out in the loan. If they don't, if the Bitcoin price went down to $13,500 here, what would happen is this position would be liquidated. It means that the wrapped Bitcoin that they have put up against this position would be sold off to recoup the DAI that was loaned out against the Bitcoin. That would not be good for the crypto space. So if we start getting down towards $15,000, $16,000 Bitcoin, there's huge incentive for lots of big whales to come in and push the price to here, which at this point would trigger the liquidation unless there is more collateral added to this, and then that would put a lot of sell pressure on the market and we could very quickly visit 10, 11k Bitcoin at that point as well. So that's a bit of a sidetrack, but on Three Arrows Capital, they have supposedly loans like that from multiple different platforms. And we see one platform that people are fairly familiar with is Blockfi. And one of the guys here from Blockfi came out and made a comment today talking about the speculation, because there's speculation about Blockfi that they could be next to lock up or be in trouble due to their I suppose exposure to Three Arrows Capital. They talk about here their risk management policies, and they can confirm that they exercise their best practices judgment recently with a large client that failed to meet their obligations of an over collateralized margin loan. So they don't say this is Three Arrows Capital. That is the speculation that this is Three Arrows Capital. They say no client funds are impacted. They believe that they're one of the first to take action with this counterparty. So I would say this should be the warning point that be careful. Now they are saying no client funds are impacted and Blockfi will probably be okay, but personally I wouldn't take that risk. I will be taking my funds out into a wallet that I control for the next month or two and see where the market sits then, or see where things land after this potential implosion. So on Three Arrows Capital, we start going down through it. Some of their best investments include AVAX, Near, Aave, Durabit, Starkwave, Terra Luna and Axie Infinity. Terra Luna is something that has really caused them a lot of issues, and you'll see that further down where they went and bought a lot of Terra Luna that was locked up just before the collapse as well. And if we go in and look at some of the protocols here, you can see the base layers and then decentralized finance protocols here. We don't see Cardano on the list here, and that's actually a very good thing right now, because with the issues that Three Arrows Capital have, whatever they have of any of these protocols could potentially get dumped on the market at any time. So if you're holding any of the protocols, it's something to keep in the back of your mind that there could be some decent sell pressure there. So for some people, they could see this as an opportunity and hope that the price does actually dump down so they can buy in lower. DCA, always a good way to get into the market. Never go all in on whatever the current market price is. DCA in, so you're putting in a little bit at different price levels. But these are the different protocols they're invested in. Lots of big names there. So I would say be cautious out there in the market right now. So then we have one of the founders here. One example of where he tried to drive down the price of Ethereum so he could buy cheaper Ethereum as well. Not really a good sign to see. Now that is an older article. It's just trying to give reference to who the guy actually is. And coming on down, this is the part here about Terra Luna. So before the Terra collapse, 3AC spent $660 million to buy locked Luna. That's now worth $670. So that's a massive loss on their balance sheet. So no matter how many big wins they've had, that is a huge loss to actually take. Now they say here about their speculation that loss caused them to go on high leverage, trying to win back the funds that they had lost, which could be leading to this cascading effect where they took out loans against loads of different places and they're all starting to be called at the one time. So how liquid are they? Look, we don't really know how liquid they are. We're hearing rumors of them getting called for margin calls on different platforms. And like I talked about this one over here, that the liquidation price is here. You will get a margin call a little bit higher up telling you that you need to add more collateral. If you don't, then it continues on and hits your liquidation price. So margin calls is basically your warning that you need to add more funds. I'll leave a link to this thread here. There's a lot of good information in it. On the staked ETH as well. So there was lots of speculation when the market was really dumping that Celsius were the ones selling off a lot of the staked ETH. But when people started to analyze it, it looks like Three Arrows Capital were one of the biggest sellers at the time of staked ETH, which was really driving the price down in the market as well. Then going on down here in this thread, you can see FinBlox, which is the one that I mentioned. They have now limited their withdrawals to $1,500 per month. So again, just a warning sign, I would say. Then we see Miles here talking about what we've shown further up was about the different platforms that are involved and saying that these are the ones that potentially could get dumped on future unlocks of these projects. So these were the investments that they made. We don't know how much of any of these tokens they actually hold right now. Potentially they may get in the future if they have future unlocks that they may get as well, but something to keep in your mind as well. So there's a lot of different information there. I won't keep going through it, but that should give you a picture of potentially what could happen here. So we haven't heard much from Three Arrows, but the only message we really see is one of the founders here saying we're in the process of communicating with relevant parties and fully committed to working this out. That seems a bit counter against what has been put out there. Different companies saying they tried to reach out and weren't getting any replies from Three Arrows Capital, and they eventually had to liquidate different positions. But again, we don't know what the full picture is on this. For me, I would say the message out of this is be cautious right now with what's going on in the market. Try and hold custody of your own funds. Ledger, for people with ADA, Ledger Live has added support for ADA. So that means you can buy, send and receive ADA from Ledger Live. Now that is just on the desktop and it will be added to mobile very soon. You can't stake from Ledger Live, but again, that's something they're working on. Native assets will be next and then staking after that as well. But it does give you full custody of your funds and you can use some of the other Cardano wallets for that. Ledger, again, if you have Bitcoin, you have Ethereum, anything else in some of these protocols that offer you interest, right now is probably a time to keep your crypto fairly close. Same goes for centralized exchanges and stuff like that. Some of them potentially could be open to bank runs and things like that as well. So if you're not planning to sell right now or in the next while or buy or sell, I would say holding your own funds is definitely the way to go once you understand how to do that safely. So I hope this video has been of some use to give a overall picture of what's going on and some of my own personal opinions as well. Obviously, it's up to you guys what you decide to do. Subscribe, like the video, share it out there if you think others can benefit. I do appreciate it. I'll talk to you soon.